Hey guys, how's it going? It's your boy M.K.S here, back in another video. It's midnight here in the UK actually. So technically it's now Wednesday the 28th of June. So I'm kind of a day late with these plans. But anyway, I hope you enjoy them all the same. I can't do much else to say in the intro, which is probably for the best because I know my intros sometimes can drag on longer than I want them to do. But yeah, as I say, it's midnight here in the UK. According to my laptop, it's 1 minute past on my mobile. So yeah, they're about the same time. Anyway, here are some of the things I wish to reward. So if people do things for me or things I would be grateful for, thankful for, and that kind of thing, I would say slightly behind schedule. But yeah, as ever, I'd love to read your comments, and I hope you'll support my channel, even out of the goodness of your own heart. And if you want me to return a favor anyway, please let me know. Anyway, so here goes. So number 11, if I could do a deal with the devil. I'm just kidding, only joking. I shouldn't talk about my mum like that. But I was thinking, like, because I still live with my mum and I get to have a roof over my head, I suppose it's only fair, and I take the bins out, trash, recycling, all that kind of thing every week, every Monday, when I remember, and I empty and fill the dishwasher, although probably don't do it as often as my mum wants me to, but I try and empty it every day at least, and fill it every so often when the dishes pile up too much in their kitchen, as you can probably understand. Lucky to have a dishwasher, to be fair. But yeah, so that's because I suppose that I didn't really think of this before, but recently I thought, what if for having a roof over my head, I'd take the bins out every week and the trash and recycling, and for having food and drink, I empty and fill the dishwasher as often as I can, especially the former, especially emptying it. And another thing is, for each notebook or each piece of work that I get to write on that my mum lets me to keep, in spite of my hoarding, that she doesn't give away or rip, if she doesn't rip, tear, damage, give away, destroy, or whatever, she lets me to keep. For each notebook she lets me to keep, or even each receipt or envelope or thing that she lets me keep to write on in my own creative, quirky way. And stroke, or each video she allows me to record, preferably without distractions, or let's say without distractions. I hope to have the energy to clean or tidy a room, at least hoovering room. So I wonder what you think is the fairest deal. Do you think I'm making a fair deal, or do you think I should be doing more to help out? I don't know if I should ask that question, but maybe I should put that in the poll, in the questions, in the Q&A, or the opinion poll, which I did, where I asked, what do you think is worthy of being rewarded? And also in the opinion poll, I asked you, has a yes or no answer. I asked, do you think anyone's done anything for you recently that you think is worthy of being rewarded or thanked? So I'm trying to think of things to be thankful. I forgot to mention in part 1 actually as well. I think, well, I did say anyone who's benefited Italian football and of course Celtic in some way, but I think, like, for a cheeky sort of thing, anyone who's helped Italian football by beating, say, rival teams in Europe. So by beating English or Spanish teams, dare I say, because they are our main competition, for instance, which helped Italy in the league table in terms of European trophies won. And in Celtic's case, like writing thank you letters to anyone who beat the Rangers or helped Celtic in some way, maybe by beating our arch rivals, Rangers especially, like anyone who beat them in the league or the cup, maybe writing thank you letters to them and stuff like that, or mentioning them on the Celtic official YouTube channel and things like that. Which is another thing people could do, like subscribe to the so if people subscribe to and support the Serie A YouTube channel, the FIGC, or anything to do with Italian football or Celtic, respectively, including Celtic's main channel especially, as well as Serie A. I hope to again return the favour and do what I talked about in part 1, which is share some information they want me to share. If they let me know, obviously, if people let me know they do that sort of stuff, and they want me to return the favour and be part of that deal, they could do so. Some people might want to subscribe or like my channel just out of generosity, and they might not want me to return the favour, so that's fine as well, of course. But I'm happy to return the favour either way if I get the chance, if I want to get the chance. Another thing is, I don't want to make promises I can't keep, so if I do say I will subscribe to everyone who subscribes to me, then I get loads of subscribers. If I ever get it, strike lucky or whatever, be blessed enough to get loads of subscribers, I may not have enough time or whatever on my hands, so I can't really necessarily promise it. Obviously, while my channel is still a bit small, and cute. I'm just kidding. But as my channel's quite small, or very small, unfortunately, at the moment, to be honest, I can probably stick to that promise. But if it does grow big enough, or let's say if people want me to share business cards or information about their business or political party or whatever it is, I don't want to make promises and then not be able to stick to them. So my only promise really is to do the best I can to return the favour equally and make the fairest possible deal. So that is something that I do promise to stick to, which, as I say, to do the best I can to make the fairest possible deal. And number 12, anyone who motivates and inspires me and encourages me, possibly, let's say, famous people with learning disabilities, especially those who mentor or train their fellow learning disabled people, and in particular in developing countries. Also, those who mentor people in developing countries generally, and people of colour who have done well, maybe thank them for doing well, and that kind of thing. Again, anyone who supports my writing and things like that and encourages me and helps me feel I'm making productive work, even though like smart work instead of hard work perhaps, but productive, that is actually leading to something. I think a lot of people debate whether smart work or hard work is important, or both maybe. Some might say just one is important. Most people probably say both is kind of important, but I think the most important thing is effective work, what actually makes you get towards the end goal, whatever your end goal is. Number 13, I suppose some people have helped me with some of my bias projects and that kind of thing, or from a bias point of view, whoever helps me. Number 14, whoever helps other people as well and solves their problems, or solves mine and their problems, or solves problems facing the world and things like that. Number 15, those who perhaps help me to work on my goals and network with me and things like that. Number 16, including those who share advice, but as long as they don't be dictatorial with their advice. So as long as they give advice without really telling me what to do, but actually say, if I was you, I would do this, or this is how I've made things work out, and it's worked well for me. But yeah, I get a bit annoyed when people sort of tell me how to live my life. But if they give me advice, I hope I'm able to take that advice on board and do my best to implement it, especially if I think they're in a good position to give me advice. Like, for instance, if someone's run a business for 40 years, which is unfortunately how long I've been alive, for 40 years, because I would have liked to achieve more by my 40th. But anyway, if they've ran a business for 40 years and they give me advice, I could take that advice and use it to mentor people in whatever they teach me. I can train people in Africa and Asia and those other places which I've talked about supporting. Same way that if they support me in tech and things like that, maybe they could just skip the middleman, i.e. myself, and go and train the people themselves. But if they're too busy to do so, they could pass on those skills to me. If I learned about tech or things like about business or whatever, it would be to help people in Africa and places like that, African countries, as many African countries as possible. I know some people don't like to lump Africa as one, but I mean all 54 or 55 African countries, or as many of them as I get to. 17, on that note, if anyone helps me with my bucket list, generally, like visiting as many parts of Africa and Asia as possible, for instance, going to Ireland, going to visit Aboriginal communities in Australasia, visiting Native American communities, supporting Latin American projects, and things like anyone who supports me with those sorts of goals, or my goals generally, whether it's my YouTubing, writing, typing, or again, bucket list, traveling, or achieving things, or whatever it might be. 18, anyone who inspires or motivates or encourages me. Again, I'm thankful for that kind of thing. 19, anyone who helps me with things with like supporting African software development. And number 20, also supporting Indigenous Africans and Australasians, not just in software development, but in STEM generally, including making video games, online games, websites, an online publishing house, and things like that. Anywho, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I am out.